Hello, and welcome back to episode 3 with Intentionally Living with Eli. It feels weird saying it, but I am your host, Eliza Rivera. And today I wanted to talk about walking in purpose. I know it's kind of like a week behind. Usually what I try to do is like a weekly posting of each video for the pod. But last weekend I took as a retreat weekend. Trying to take the end of each quarter to self-retreat in the year. So it's not just checking in on your goals once a year. It's mostly 4 times a year at minimum. So like you're able to adjust and readjust and kind of see where you're at and what you are doing, what you haven't done, what you have to do for when the date, the dates and timelines and hard dates are coming up and all that type of stuff. So yeah, so I wasn't able to drop an episode last week, but very much looking forward to the episode today because we're talking about purpose, talking about dreams. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a dream. It's up to us to decide whether we walk in our purpose and walk in our dream, or walk with our dream or with our purpose. But the sad reality of things is that 92% of the population, an article released by Forbes Business indicates that 92% of the population never achieved their dream. They never achieved their dream, whether it be any form that may come from dreams and purposes may take form in what someone does, what someone loves to do, an experience, a relationship, a career, a job, anything may come a goal, an achievement. Whether it be like playing a sport or any of those different forms and shapes it may come from. But everyone has a dream. Everyone has a purpose. And 92% of the population doesn't achieve it. So it's only an 8%. So that's about 7 billion people or so who just never achieve their dream. And it may not be that they're living a miserable life, but they're living a life without achieving their dream. And sometimes, and most of the time, it can come down to living a life without purpose. They think they may have a purpose, but the purpose that they were once upon a time called on to do, or the purpose of their dream they kind of set out and established when they were kids or they were younger, or when it was more doable or was easier, it was like more of an ideal state to be thinking of something like that. They never end up achieving it, and no matter what form they may be, and they just walk a life without purpose. And that's the sad reality of things, and that's the sad reality of life. And there's so many factors that go into it, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to us and deciding if we want to walk in our purpose or not, because it's there. The purpose and the dream is there. It's really up to us to obtain it. But first, we have to ask ourselves the question, what is our purpose? What is your dream? What is your purpose? What did you feel like you were put on this earth to do? And that, like I said, that may come in many shape or forms, but it's really up to us to identify based off what we love doing and how we feel when we do it, to really find what is our dream and what is the purpose that we want to walk with. What is the purpose we want to walk into? And it really comes down to us making that decision and having that self-awareness of really self-reflecting on the life we are currently living and deciding if this is the life we want to be living, or this is the life we want to live in the future, and we want to raise our kids or raise walk with our family with, or the life we want to give back to our parents for what they did to us, or the standard we want to set for whoever is looking up to us and whoever is rooting for us. And when we look at it, our lives can become so habitual and so repetitive and accustomed to a routine where we feel like every day we're waking up doing something in one shape or form, making progress, but in reality we're just walking in place. And when you really sit back and think about it, are you happy with the life you're living? And I had mentioned this in a few reels, I believe, in the previous episode. Are you happy with the life you're living? You wake up every day looking forward to the job that you do. Do you wake up and you feel like you have to do miserable tasks or um not miserable tasks, meaningless tasks and meaningless interactions that you have throughout the day, and it's kind of just like tedious at that point, where you're not looking forward to doing these things. You're not looking forward to waking up and going to this job. You're not looking forward to waking up next to your partner, the relationship you're in. You're not looking forward to hanging out with the friends you're around and the group that you have surrounded yourself with. And we have to really reflect and think about that and really decide if in this big world, in this massive, immense world that we live in this universe, do we want to contribute and have some type of contribution to the good in this world? There's a lot of bad that goes on in this world, but there's a lot of good that just kind of is overshadowed by it. And it's up to us to really decide in what way we want to contribute to the world and what way we want to contribute to our lives. Because when it comes down to it, you really think about it, every day we are investing in our lives, regardless if you want to, regardless if you mean to, and regardless if you're even aware. Every day we're investing in our lives. The moment we wake up and we open our eyes, the first decisions we decide to make at that point for the rest of the day is having an impact on our lives. And the moment we wake up, we decide to use our phones. If we decided to get up early and go work out, we decided to wake up and stay in bed and sleep in, or just wake up and eat something unhealthy, or just kind of not get your mind in the right place to start the day. You're already investing in your life the moment you open your eyes. You have a decision to make, and we make so many decisions throughout the day that each decision is going to have either a minor or major impact long term on our lives. And even if it's a minor impact, just the repetitiveness of it happening every day and occurring every day for a long period of time is going to have a major impact, because it's just going to have a snowball effect. And it's really up to us to decide, if we're already investing in our lives every day, what kind of life do you want to invest in? Are you happy with the life you're living? Or is there a different type of picture that you had and a different plan for your life that you had that you want to live? And if that happens to be the case, then we really have to sit down and we have to reflect, acknowledge, and be honest with ourselves, and identify which areas of our life we're not happy with. Because it's like a potato in a bag. When you have a rotten potato in a bag, do you leave that rotten potato to sit there to rot and contaminate the rest of the potatoes in the bag till the whole bag goes bad? Or do you take that one potato out and leave the other ones to sit there, fresh, and not be damaged by the other one bad potato? Who leaves that one knowing that there's one area in their life that's affecting the rest of their lives that can be toxic, or can be just draining your energy from your everyday life, and something you feel miserable doing, something you're not happy doing, and you wake up every day to deal with it instead of removing it from your life, so the rest of your life and every other area is able to improve and in a positive way, rather than sitting there rotting with the rest of it because of this one bad potato. So it's really just us identifying what we are happy with in our lives and what we aren't, and kind of making the decision to remove the things we aren't happy with and kind of overall grow our lives. But it really comes down to it, the only way you're able to do that is if you have a purpose, because then by you removing this thing out of your life, it's not going to be meaningless. So it's really up to us to identify and carve in our lives, carve the paths that we're walking down, and based off the purpose we want to live. And just the overall point to that is that we really need to invest in the life we want to live, because every day we're already making decisions. I honestly, don't quote me on this, but I want to say it's not more than 3,000, but it has to be like 36,000. I believe it's 36,000 decisions that the average human makes in their lives. 36,000 decisions. And if that happens to be in reality the case for each individual, it may be different. But if it's around an average 36,000 decisions we're making in a day, why not make at least minimum half or a third of those, or 3/4 of those decisions, 75% of it, investing in the good that you want to do, investing in the life you want to live, investing in the person you want to be, investing in that purpose and that dream that you so long wanted to obtain and desired, why not work for that instead of waking up and working for someone else and waking up and being miserable and not being around who you want to be, not being the person you want to be, not doing the things you want to do. And I think it's so important that we realize that, because once we start removing those things in our lives that need to be removed, they're damaging the overall good of our lives. We have to make the decision and just come down to the reality of things, that your life will have to look different if you want different results. You cannot stay in the same place you are, doing the same things you are doing, and expect to be in a different place. If you put your GPS on to go to the same place, if you memorize the same road and you go down that same road, you're not going to arrive at the different destination that you wanted. You're going to arrive at that same destination that you have been so long programmed to do, and clearly you are not happy with. Clearly you're not living that life you want to live in, living that dream and walking with that purpose that you want, that you always wanted, and when it really comes down to it, we have to really decide and be aware that your life will have to look different if you want different results. And that's where we fall short, and we always come up short. We stop too soon, because and that's where we fall short. That's where we're not able to achieve our dreams, because we haven't decided what we want to remove in our lives, because some of these things come down to short-term pleasures. Some of these things come down to sacrifices that we aren't willing to make, habits that we aren't willing to remove, people that we're not willing to let go. And you have to make sacrifices. I was talking to someone the other day at work, and we were talking about how for them to live a life they want to live, they would have to pivot their lives completely, pivot like a 180, in a 180 degree, where now they're living a completely opposite life, or at least their habits for the most part are completely different habits, because they understand and are aware that they have to change and what they have to change in their lives to be able to achieve what they want to achieve, because they're clearly not that person who's in the position to obtain that and overcome those obstacles to be able to achieve that dream. But she understands and is aware of what she has to do. And it's really, once we understand and are aware of what we have to remove from our lives, and what we have to change and what we have to do differently, we just have to make the decision and act. We just have to start. Once you have the game plan, everyone, we always can think of a game plan, write things down on what we have to do to live a better life, what we have to do to achieve our dreams and achieve these goals. And we write the game plan on the strategy, but we're always too scared to take the initiative to start completing these tasks. Because once you start completing these tasks, task by task and step by step, you're getting closer and closer to becoming the person you need to be worthy of receiving this goal and this reward that you so long longed for. But it's only by taking action, once you have the plan to get where you need to go and become who you need to be, you begin to realize that it's not going to be an easy path. It's not going to be the easiest path. It's not going to be the shortest path. It's going to be a long, demanding journey, because especially the bigger the dream is, the more work you have to do. You can allow yourself, and I mentioned one of my reels, you can allow yourself to dream big, but you have to respect yourself and hold yourself accountable enough to work even harder to achieve these dreams. Dreams are just dreams without the work. But with that, the bigger the dreams and the more work you have to do, the more uncomfortable you're going to be, the more demanding it's going to be, the more obstacles you have to face, the more trials you have to go through, the more negativity life is going to throw at you, because it's trying to stop you down and trying to hold you down and push you down till you give up, till you're able to decide that you're not able to go on anymore. And some of us, it happens to some of us more than others, but there are people who have hard lives and go through it, but they've been able to make it out. There are people who decided that this is not the life they want to live, and just through sheer will, they were able to make it out of those situations because they decided that that's, even though that was a situation they were in, that did not define who they were and where they were going, because your present is not your future. And as long as we have that mentality where everything that I'm going through is meaningful, everything has a purpose, it has a reason to be occurring, in the situation I'm finding myself in is only going to make me grow. But a lot of people, when they don't have and they lack that mentality, down the road, when life's pushing so hard against them and the opposition seems to be too great, they start to give up. And they get to the moment where I heard in a speech I was watching by Eric Thomas, he discusses and he talks about a turn back moment, that everyone has a turn back moment. And it's true, because a turn back moment basically is that when you get to like your last like straw, and your last, nerve, like people say, and like you're just kind of on that last leg and you don't know what to do anymore. You don't know if you want to turn back or keep going. Everyone has a turn back moment. And when that turn back moment, presents itself, you are able to either decide to give up and to go back after all you came through, and after all you walked through in this whole journey that you were on, or you have the decision to keep moving forward and push one more day. And I heard in a speech once, someone was talking to their father, and they were talking about like dad, like he was an alcoholic and he struggled and had issues obviously with alcohol, and he kept relapsing as much as he wanted to quit. And there was one time his son asked him, was like, hey, like, how do you plan on being like sober, like for good now? And he's like, no. And the son was confused, like, okay, so like, what is your plan? And the father told the son, I plan on being sober one more day. And then once he gets through that day, when he wakes up, he says, I'm going to be sober one more day. And he continues every day he wakes up to tell himself and tell everyone that he's going to be sober one more day, because he began to realize, as big as the opposition may be and the addiction may be and that thing that he's fighting and that situation he finds himself in, as long as he takes it day by day with a purpose in mind, and walking with his purpose and what he wants to achieve, every day it's going to be a lot easier to just tackle small wins and be able to go through it, and then have those small wins bring the momentum that you need, and build the character that you need to become, to be able to achieve this dream and to be able to achieve your purpose. But it's only by every day just consistently deciding not to give up, and just deciding that this is who I am, and this is the standard we are setting from now on, and this is who I want to be. And even if I'm not able to achieve it in a big, grand way, I'm going to start by the little things, by the little routines, the little habits that I'm placing in my life that are going to be able to set the momentum and really push me to become the person who I want to be, and go where I want to go and where I need to go. Sometimes we need to realize that life doesn't have like a bone to pick with us. The negatives aren't coming our way meaningless, and some of us have harder lives than others. The greater the opposition, the bigger your potential is, the higher your potential is, the greater whatever is inside you is. Because if not, if your opposition knew that you had given up your dream, and knows you gave up your dream, and you're clearly not following it, and it's still attacking you, and it's still trying to hold you down, the reason for that is because it can identify, and it knows how big your dream is, and the impact your dream and your purpose is going to have on this world, and the impact that your dream and your purpose is going to have on you. And it can see that and identify that, and it just starts to hold you down and keep attacking you and keep pushing you down and hold you down to the ground, where you're not able to get up and not remember your dream, and not put yourself in the position to be able to follow and walk down that purpose, because it knows the threat you are to the opposition. It knows how big you are. It knows how big your potential is. So the harder the things you are going through, it's only because you're meant to be that grand. You're meant to have that story. You're meant to have a story to help other people and to impact other people. And that is why when we walk with purpose, we're able to overcome these things, because these things don't become meaningless obstacles. They're not meaningless situations. They're not meaningless, uncomfortable situations and problems that we are going through, because they're causing us to grow, and they're causing us to build the character that we need to be, and to become and be in the ideal worthy state of receiving this reward that we want. Because some of us want to receive the reward and receive the outcome to this journey in our hands without doing the work. Some of us want to stay the way we are and live the lives we are living, and be the people we are, when we're not worthy of receiving that, because that requires hard work. That requires you to prove yourself worthy to life, and to prove yourself that you deserve to be up there, that you deserve to achieve what you want to do, and you deserve to go wherever you want to end up going and living and becoming in life, because you put in the work. Diamonds aren't created, through just like a little wishy-washy like process. They go through pressure, an immense amount of pressure. They go through the heat. They go through an insane amount of heat. They have to go through the process, and after that they're cut. But once they go through the pressure, and once they go through the heat, and once they're cut, and they go through all these painful, uncomfortable situations, the diamond no longer is breakable. The diamond ends up becoming the sturdiest and most hardest thing that we have on this earth. Through these pressurization, through the heat, through the cutting and the edging, through the molding, and through the process, we're able to become our most perfect and best version of ourselves. But this will never ever become it will never be achievable through the journey. It's only at the end of the journey. This is a marathon. It's only at the end of our lives we're able to become that best version of ourselves. So we have to thrive every day to get there, because you don't know when the end is. You don't know when the end of your life is. You don't know when the end of the opportunity for you to be able to achieve this dream is. So why not do it now? Why wait till tomorrow? Why not try to work on and be intentional with the life we're living, for every day waking up to make these decisions to invest in our lives, regardless if we want to or not? Why not just be intentional with it and really create the lives we want to live, and walk with the purpose that we want to walk with? Do it for something bigger. The problem that people have is that they begin to do things for a smaller purpose, for materialistic purposes, for monetary purposes. And once these things come and go, where they're not meaningful enough, then you lose your purpose, and you lose the dream that you're working on, and something that you're working towards to, and you lose your sense of identity. And that's why we have so many people. That's why we have such a big population of that 92% is just lost and living a life that at times can be meaningless to them. And that's why we have so many people go through these mental adversities, because with all these problems that life is throwing at them, it's easy to get fogged up, and that can happen to any of us. No one's more special than others. It's easy to fog up and have your mind not clear on what's going on, and have certain obstacles and distractions have bigger priorities than others. But it's because we don't have space, and we have the organization in our head and the purpose to be able to clear the fog up and clear the smoke up, and be like, no, like this is why this is going on. This is going to help me here. I can learn this lesson from this person, or learn this lesson from this situation. And I'm going to use that to mold myself and build the character that needs and requires for my dream to be achieved. Not everyone can just run and go to the Olympics and run fast and be able to win a gold medal. It's through training. It's through the everyday investing in the bigger purpose, and seeing yourself on that podium at the end of the journey, at the end of the race, at the end of all the trials and obstacles and adversities you had to face, and standing with your chin up high, knowing that you did everything possible and you left everything on the table to become who you needed to be to achieve what you wanted to achieve. And when it comes down to it, it's really about getting ready to receive what you want in life. The reason you haven't received it yet is because you weren't ready to handle that dream or purpose. You weren't prepared. Your life hasn't been adjusted to be in a state of receiving this dream and purpose. So get ready. Get ready. If it's meaningful enough and it's important enough to you that you achieve this dream and you walk down this purpose, then get ready. Make the change and make the pivot. Readjust what your life is looking like and the trajectory that you are heading down, and redirect it towards something meaningful, towards a happy, fulfilling life, because you only get one crack at it. You only get one chance. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter how many tries it takes. A big reason of that 92% of people who don't achieve it, not all 92% didn't actually go trying to achieve their dream. A lot of that 92% did try, and they gave up because they weren't able to reach it. After the first try, after the second try, who guaranteed you that you going down this path was going to allow you to achieve and do what you wanted to do and arrive where you wanted to arrive after the first or second try? Who said it was going to take a week? Who said it was a month? Who said it would take a year? It's going to take possibly months, years, probably the first 10 years. There's people who don't see any productivity or any type of monetization to their businesses or any type of profit till like after the first 5-10 years. And the reason they stick to it is because they have something meaningful enough that it's whatever they're going through, it's not bigger than the meaning that they gave it, that purpose that the meaning that they gave their purpose. It's not bigger than the opposition. And the reason that a lot of these people stick through it and achieve these dreams is because the purpose they gave these actions, the purpose behind it, because they have a dream that they're walking with their purpose, the meaning that they gave these obstacles that they're going through was bigger than the opposition. Their purpose is bigger than the opposition. That's what we have to remind ourselves. That no matter what we're going through, we're going to be able to get through it because we're going to learn something from it. And when you start approaching life with and drop the victim's mentality, and you start using the mentality where it's a growth mentality where you're there to learn and get something from every experience in life, and it's just like it's not that life is just happening to me and bad things are coming. Life is trying to mold you. It's trying to help you. It's trying to help you build the character that you need to achieve your dream, but you're focusing on the negatives and giving it the bad mentality and perspective that it's just gonna tie you down, and it's just gonna continue to bury your dreams and the purpose that you wanted this whole time. If you're already in pain, like I said before, if you're already in pain, get a reward from it. You're already going down this path. Why turn back and give up on all the progress you made, or the progress you could have made, because you were scared of something that wasn't there, because you feared that you weren't able to achieve it, when you never got to the end of the story to be able to find out if you did or didn't. And that's where a lot of people lose their identity. And this is kind of something like I want to read that I wrote down that I thought was super important in the way it was phrased and said at the time when it came to me when I wrote it. And it said, people don't know what they want with their lives. They lose their sense of identity because they place their purpose in empty, unfulfilling matters. So you never know when it comes and goes. They don't know who they are going to be and who they want to be, because their purpose becomes temporary. However, when you find a purpose that is bigger than your problems and carries more meaning, then you don't have to worry about what goes on in the journey, because you know your destination. You know the meaning of every uncomfortable situation you are in, and you know the meaning of every obstacle you are facing in your life is to build character. It's to build a character worthy of walking in your purpose. That when the bad comes your way and you're face to face with your trials and your obstacles, you're going to use these obstacles to grow you and use them as an opportunity to say, thank God for making me stronger, and thank you for the opportunity to grow, because my purpose requires it. And I think that's that last point, is that my purpose requires it. So thank you, life. Thank you for giving me another story to tell. Thank you for making me stronger. Thank you for making me have to grow to become a better version of myself. And I was telling my friend Peter, which I have a piece I actually want to read to him before I let you guys go. And I was telling him that, hey man, like, when you have the mentality of, no matter what happens to me, no matter what obstacles I have to go through, no matter what situation I find my life in, no matter how bad it may be, I will not use the victim mentality, and I will not blame life for making life hard for me. And instead, I'm going to thank God for the opportunity to grow. I'm gonna thank life in the situation to presenting itself, because now you gave me a story to tell. If you put me through something bad, I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm in this rut, I can't get out, like, life is so bad, I don't know what to do, I don't know what the meaning to my life is anymore, because this situation can be so big and it can be so clouding and deceiving, where we forget what path we're on and what path we're going down to begin with, and why we were doing it. But I have the mentality, and I'm still in the process of development, but I have the mentality that no matter what happens in my life, I'm going to use it and find the good in it. And then if something bad were to really happen, then I will use the opportunity to, like, thank you for giving me a story. Now you just gave me a bigger impact to have on the world. Now you gave me the opportunity to expand my audience, to be able to help other people, to have a bigger impact, not just on my life and the people around me and their lives, but on the world in general, on the world in a whole. Because now I have a story to tell, and I know it's going to have an impact on people, because there are people who are going through those same situations, who just need a ray of hope, who just need a sign that everything will be okay. So I will thank you for the opportunity, because there was a purpose behind it. There was meaning behind it. And I was able to identify that meaning. So it made the process even, and whatever I went through, even easier. It didn't make it as hard or as frightening and as scary as big as it may seem at first. But when you're able to break it down and be like, no, this is why I'm doing it. No matter what, this is where I want to get to, and this is where I want to go. So everything, it's not situations and negative, adversities presenting themselves and obstacles. It's just part of the journey. I needed to go through this. It was required of me to go through this to be able to achieve the dream I wanted to achieve, and to be able to get to the other side. And on that note, I just want to leave you guys with the thought of, go after your dreams, walk in your purpose. I've never been so happy in my life and so fulfilled till I decided to kind of go down this path, and I was able to take time to heal from whatever I was going through and find myself and find who I wanted to be, and decide that is where I was going to go. And the moment I started going down this path, it's like an everyday thing, an everyday obsession where like every day I'm doing something and I'm thinking about it. I have an idea, or I'm working on something, I'm reading something, I'm studying something, with the mentality of growing and building the character that needs to be built to get where I want to go. And I've never been so happy and so fulfilled till I decided to walk down the purpose that I know was called for me to do, regardless of the outcome and regardless of the support I may get from it. Regardless, I'm doing what I want to do, and I know as long as I'm putting in the work day after day, it's inevitable. As long as I'm putting in the work, it's gonna happen, whether it's now or 10 years from now. But I know I'd rather invest every day into something that I want to have in 10 years rather than give up because I'm not seeing the results now, and then end up 10 years regardless, still alive on this planet, doing something I don't want to do and living a miserable life. And living a life not up to the standard that I once thought about it when, I first came into this earth, and when I first had this mentality on a life and who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do, and not living up to that standard in 10 years because I decided to give up. And the last thing I want to leave you guys with is that if you give up on your dream, the only guarantee that comes from that is that your dream will never happen, no matter what, because you gave up on it. But the only way to guarantee that it happens is by never giving up. It's literally just a mathematical equation. If you give up, it's never going to happen. But the only way to guarantee that it is going to happen is by never giving up. So don't let anyone kill your dreams. Don't listen to the crowd. Don't follow the momentum and these temporary purpose, and just go with the flow and wherever the wind and whatever wave, drags you along. Live for something bigger. Find something that's meaningful to you. Find something that you love to do and who you love to be around, and do that and make a life out of it, because you only get one shot at it. So might as well live the best possible life and become the best possible version of you that you never could imagine of being. Push yourself every day till your last day, and leave everything on the table and live with no regrets, knowing that you did everything possible to become who you wanted to be and to create the life you wanted to create. And you have no regrets, regardless if you are able to achieve that or not, because you lived a meaningful life and a purposeful life, and you live for something bigger, and that in itself has no value to it, has no bigger value to it. There is no monetary, no physical, no materialistic thing that can be bigger than living a purposeful and meaningful life. And it's only by doing that you're gonna live a happy life. And a little piece I wanted to leave you guys with is a piece that my friend Peter wrote, and it's called "Let the Dreamers Sing." Blind to the road ahead, I continue to thread on alone. Just a North Star that follows me, looking down from above. Its ceaseless glare hits the side of my eye, constantly testing my patience. It plays with the voice in my head as I try to keep my composure and push further. I grew more restless as the path continued. I see a man in the distance, draping his fatigued body against a boulder. I slowly walk up to him with no energy to keep quiet. My heavy footsteps now speaking for me. Defeated, he stares at the North Star and his breathing paces slowly. He mutters, "There's nothing here, son." I have been walking down this path and struggling to get his words out. I stare at him and feel a sharp burn ignite from my chest. He confides in me as he submits to the world. I have been walking down this path and there is nothing. He suddenly begins sobbing, finally accepting that his journey has finished. My lungs start collapsing with force as anger begins to poison my body. I gather myself and continue to walk, leaving the man where he lay dispossessed. The image of the man's face parades in my mind, my breathing now resembling that of an ox. The light continues to tease me. The path begins droning to me like a constant beep in my ear that won't go away. I try to block everything out by talking to myself, but I wasn't helping at all. Why did I even come out here? This is so stupid. Negative undertones spewed from my soul. I began to think about my family back home. My older sisters, who have been married and are now starting families of their own. My mother, who would probably be making food right now from when father and I got home. I think of my father, who would tell me his stories from back home. I remember him reassuring me that we'd make it out of this hole and that we'd be okay. This hole being whatever rut we were in, as he and my mom did everything to get us ahead. And then I recall of a song he wrote when he was younger and began to sing to me. I can hear it play in my head and see his weathered face hitting each note as I sat and listened. Something felt off now. I couldn't stop myself from seeing the old man's face. I could see his somber and sunken face on my father as he sang. The music halted and I could no longer keep myself together. All the oxygen escaped my body, seizing the fire that burned inside me. I struggled to breathe as I processed what I was watching. The star's light now glaring as it hit the water flowing from my eyes. I stare at the North Star and begin to negotiate with myself. I pictured myself turning back and going home. I knew I'd be welcome. My mother and my father happy to have me back, but I'd carry that face forever. So on that note, thank you for tuning in Intentionally Living with Eli. Episode 3, Walking with Your Purpose. And I hope after today you are able to walk with your purpose. And if you ever need feedback, if you ever want some advice, some guidance, someone to talk to, feel free to reach out. If you have any ideas, feedback, constructive criticism, anything, please feel free to reach out. Share this with a friend, share it somewhere if you think someone can benefit from it. And yeah, looking forward to all the plans ahead, everything we have in mind, all the stuff we're planning for down the road and for this journey. And I'm excited to go down it with you guys. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your week. Go be great.